During the Minecraft Live 2023, Mojang announced the 1.21 update. On June 13, 2024, over a year ago, Mojang released the Tricky Trials update, which added by far the most interesting and complicated structure in the game, the Trial Chambers. Although it's been 13 months since Trial Chambers addition to Minecraft, nobody has answered the million-dollar question: who built the Trial Chambers? When I first started investigating the Trial Chambers, I really couldn't connect many dots. Only a few things were obvious. Whoever built the Trial Chambers was really wealthy, since you can get items like notch apples and diamonds from it. We also can't forget that the Trial Chambers creators held the most powerful weapon in Minecraft, the maze, which we're going to talk about later. And then I realized something that helped me solve not only the Trial Chambers, but also many more structures. You see, one of the most notable things in the structure is the Breeze, an airbending mob that is suspiciously similar to another mob from the Nether dimension. I'm obviously talking about the Blaze. And it's not just looks and anatomy that are similar here. Both mobs appear from the mob spawners. Coincidence? I think not. And this just begs a different question. Who built the Nether fortresses? Piglins would have been the most logical thing to assume at first, but the thing is, Nether fortresses were built out of Nether bricks, which can only be made by smelting netherrack in a furnace. And there are only two species in Minecraft who use furnaces: players, aka ancient builders, and the villagers. At first, builders seemed to be the most obvious choice. I mean, why would the villagers build massive forts in a different dimension? Well, why would the player then? It would be possible that the ancient builders were trying to escape the zombie virus, which eventually led to their extinction, except us, the player. That would explain why, who, and when built the Nether fortresses. Except, it can't be possible because of one singular block, the spawner. There just simply isn't a single timeline where the players created mob spawners. But if not players, then who did? Well, if you have ever been in the Woodland Mansion, you might have missed something that explains the story of mob spawners. Along with other experimental rooms in the mansion, like the End Portal room, there's a hidden spider spawner room. My theory is that the walkers, perhaps with help from witches, created the mob spawners. Don't believe me? Then who do you think built the strongholds? Ancient players, right? Well, that's wrong. It's once again the Evokers. There's literally a concept of a portal room in the Woodland Mansion, and on top of that, there is always a silverfish spawner right next to the portal. If that's not convincing enough, then I don't know what is. I could go on and try to explain the entire End dimension, but we still haven't come close to figuring out what the Trial Chambers truly are, so let's go back to the Nether fortresses. If you haven't realized what my theory was yet, then it's that, once again, the pillagers and the witches built it. Fortresses served as massive brewing and battle stations. Think about it, it's the only place where we can find grown nether board. And what else is necessary for potion brewing? The blaze rods. But does it mean that blazes were artificially created with magic? Not really, and I have proof. You see, the pillagers didn't create other mobs that can be found inside spawners. That means that blazes used to freely roam the nether waste before something happened. But if I tried to figure out why blazers are extinct by the time we're playing the game, it would take too much time. So let's focus back on the Trial Chambers. Of course, we could use the same logic on the breezes in the Trial Chambers and say that they went extinct just like the blazes. But I think that a better explanation would be that breezes were in fact artificially created by the pillagers and were an attempt to recreate the blaze. And I guess pillagers couldn't recreate the permanent fire, so we got an airbending breeze instead. I hope that everything makes sense so far, because I'm not done just yet. We still have to find out what Maze's origins are. And once again, I believe that it was the pillagers' creation, and it's not just because the Trial Chambers were made by them, as we already know. there's more evidence. As we can see throughout the game, pillagers really like to use heavy and deadly weapons like axes and crossbows, which are basically heavier and slower counterparts to swords and bows. And so is the mace. Well, it doesn't really have a counterpart, but it still deals the most damage out of literally anything in Minecraft. And since pillagers were experimenting with stuff like wizards and end dimension, they definitely needed something as deadly as the mace. We also can't forget about the mace's windburst enchantment, which can be directly linked with wind charges, once again proving that it's pillagers' work. And I guess after all the experiments, pillagers just went ahead and put their most valuable items into the trial chamber's vaults. And that was all the evidence I was able to get. The series was really tiring to make, but I also quite enjoyed it. And hopefully you enjoyed watching this video as well. Also, I'm really curious how believable you found my theory. I would be really happy if you would comment your opinion and perhaps even